Hi guys, and a welcome from me, another Championship Manager 01-02 video. So today's video, I'm going to emphasise a lot on Nick's patcher. Now Nick is from the forums, the Championship Manager 01-02.net forums. Nick&co, I believe is his username. Nick sort of took over Saturn, who had previously used to make amazing patches. Saturn's pretty much disappeared, and Nick has been relentless in what he does with the patches. He's always upgrading them, and he tends to release one or two after every update. So recently, you may already know, a couple of weeks ago we had the new April 2022 update, and always the case, a week or so after, Nick releases a patch. I think as it was a week later Nick released it, and then a few days after that Nick released an update on his patcher. So this is Nick's final patcher for this particular update, and this is version 2.22. Now a lot of people they say that they get a lot of errors in the patcher and stuff like that. Now I'm going to go from the very start here with the patcher. So once you've downloaded your patcher, you can see the folder I'm in. It's CMO102 patcher version 2.22. The best way for me to show you this is going to be as I just follow me. Don't worry about that. Ignore that shit. So basically, when you first load up the patcher, this is the case pretty much of any one of Nick's patches, but as they've got further versions, there's more options on it. Now, the very first one you can see, this is your first opening page that you've just seen, and this is really key. If you want coloured attributes, a lot of people say, "Oh, what coloured attributes?" Well, there you go, bang bang. Now, obviously, I should point out if you are going to alter an X. As in alter one of your CM0102 X's, you need to browse to the exact X that you want to modify, and then if you haven't already modified it, it will give you a few suggestions. There is a reason I'm not showing you an X already modified, and that is because I will explain, because some of the things that you change or that I change are irreversible. I think I pointed something out on this roughly in one of my previous videos. So I'm doing it with no X, that way you see all the available options. So there's a lot of things. Enable idle sensitivity, and most of which, if you put the mouse over it, hover it over, it tells you what it basically is. So stops CPU from using 100% when the game is idle and not processing. Disable splash screen. Enable 7 substitutes. That enables 7 substitutes. I do override that myself with one of the misc patches. More about the misc patches in a moment. Show star players. I like that. I like to see who the star players are of a team, including your own. Obtain jobs easier abroad. That is a big one for me. Change resolution. A lot of people have issues with the resolution size. I don't ever have that issue, so I just leave that as is. This next one, particularly on updates, I like to replace the Welsh Premier League with the English National North or the South. One of Nick's previous versions, I believe the Premier Division was also an option, but I think there was a few errors, so he retained it just North and South. Replace the AI tactics. Now that's a very important one. One of my previous videos was about Wibwob, and you can replace the AI tactics, the computer tactics, with standard tactics that come with the update. Alon, which basically means the computer tactics are all non-Wibwob, including the default goalkeeper and the 4-3-3, the striker. They are all non-Wibwob, which is what I like to do. I'm a little bit against it because a lot of the managers don't tend to use their preferred formation. Now these next two tactics, Daggy 7 and the info tactic, and the Samsami at the bottom there, they are all AI harder tactics, as you can see. Samsami is the strongest AI tactics. They are really hard. The computer will have Wibwob tactics all over the shop, and you can see that one there, the original 3.968 tactics. Like I said, I leave it. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. As I said, I just let me just come off this. You don't want that back and shit. I just purely leave it with nothing. Force load all players. Now, you do that at your own risk. Force loading all players. Let's just put them out. Right. Forces all players to be loaded from the database, even if not all leagues have been selected. For fuck's sake. You still need maximum database set in the game options though. Expect it to take a long time to start a new game. Exactly. Expect it to take a long time in the, It's a tough one, really. I mean, I don't have that because it takes an age. Manage any team. Now, manage any team. It's a bit of a tricky one, really, because I don't have this. Allows human players to apply for jobs at clubs in active leagues. The apply button will now always be available. Personally, right, if you've not got the Germany League open, you can apply to take the the Bayern Munich job. What's the point if it's not active? Because you're only playing the Champions League and friendlies. So it's not really any point, in my opinion. Make executable portable. They all say, I mean, the most important ones: swap South Korea for China. Show hidden attributes, a fourth additional attribute line. This is really from the ODB here. Disable the unprotected contracts. Very, very straightforward. But this is what I want to really go into here. So, a lot of people say the EEC patcher. Now, the EEC patcher, this is, you don't want the work permits. Now, I don't have the work permits on my update on the April 2022 because in my little world, which is a bit scary, work permits are a thing of the past. You know, you don't really hear the issues about work permits. You still see Man United buying that little Brazilian wonder kid, or let's say Man City with the Argentine striker that they've got who's on loan. So the EEC patcher, so what you do is you click on EEC patcher and then you identify exactly okay, no, sorry, something made me jump there, sorry. You identify exactly, I can't click onto it, right, yeah, it's because I've not gone to the right exe. But what you do is you identify to the Championship Manager data folder, and you double click that nation, and it will make all teams EEC. Okay, so a lot of people say, what is an EEC patcher? Okay, like I said, I've hit on this before, but the reason I've gone to this is because I want to talk about the missed patches on this. First things first, and Nick rightly so points out here. You may well break your EXE, and Nick also emphasises on his thread where he releases his updates, unless you know what you're doing, don't go to this patches, and I can't echo that enough. The reason I'm going to it is because I know a couple of people have contacted me and said, I like your version, how do I get it? Now, it's a tricky one because you've got to really be persevere and be patient. But all these patches are all to enhance it are all in here. Now I'll show you something, right? If I just cross this out, I'm now going to browse to my exe, exactly to my exe, and you'll see what I mean. They are irreversible. So, some things on the opening screen are irreversible, such as replacing South Korea with China, irreversible. You can see it's embolded. Update names and transfer windows, it's embolded. The National League South that I've got in is embolded. Allow closing game window, which I didn't know was irreversible. Enable 7 substitutes. I've got that changed. Why is that not marked? So now I'm going to go to apply mispatch, and I'll show you exactly what's already ticked on my particular patch. This is trial and tested. More about the testing and the saving in a moment. But you'll see you've really got to be following the exact procedure, because you will get errors. There's no doubt about that. And because what will happen is some of these mispatches, let's hypothetically say this Saturn V1 patch here that's not marked, probably clashes or with the main center patches. So you've got to be really, and that's where you get your errors. So that there is lots of, these are all patches from when Saturn, you remember I mentioned Saturn, he was a guy from the forums who used to release Saturn patches, and what Nick's done, I think he's merged a lot of the Saturn patches. He did it from his very first version, Saturn 1, then you can see Saturn 2, and I think all the way, I think he went up to Saturn 7 or 8, 9, sorry, there you go. So he's merged with him. Now, a few of these will conflict, but the most important ones to me are the ones that, things like this, uncapped 20s. I've said this in the previous video, but this is all about making your game as close to your real life. Most of these, and most of them, do have a description, probably about 80-90%. Now this next thing is really important because a lot of people, they say, well, but I keep getting errors, and So what I would suggest, right, is make your changes, load up a game, do it on a minimum database because it'll be quicker. Make sure you get no errors. If you want, try it on different countries, see you've got no errors, come back to this and save it. That way, that is your save point. Then if you make some more changes and it fucks up, you can restore it. And so this thing about the irreversible side of things, you can restore it. Really utilise the save and restore options. Really, really important. Okay, the next thing, one thing I wanted to hit on was apply a patch file. Now, a lot of people, I would personally like to see... Shit, I've not got these on here actually, have I? I've not got them on here actually. Okay, apply a patch file. I thought I had them on this device, but I haven't. I have various patches that I've obtained the offsets for. The offsets is how you make a patch file. You can make them in a Word document. But I know jack shit about how to do it and how to make them. Someone gives me them, I write them down, I make the patch file, I apply it. Now, for example, and that's how you do it. Once you've got your patch file, these are patch files maybe you want that are not on Nick's Patcher already. And basically, let's say, for example, I like to be able to see the AI players, what their squad status is, if their squad rotation, if they're not needed, if they're indispensable, and I will apply it using this. What else? Training facilities. You can see it out of 20. It says good, don't it? Or needs investment. You can have a mark out of 20 what they are. That's another patch file. I would like to see all the ones I use from a selfish point of view. I'd like to see them options in Nick's Patcher personally, but it's no here or there. I keep an eye on them. So that is Nick's Patcher. Now, if you are doing testing, like I do a lot of testing, what I would personally advise, until you've got exactly what you want, you might as well put your game speed at maximum of 200. And then when you are content and you've got everything okay and everything's good, then just just put it back down to whatever you want it, whatever you desire. Some people say default. I personally go at times 8 for an internet game, times 20 for a solo game, because times 20, times 200 and times maximum is just too much, personally. Okay, so that is Nick's Patcher version 2.22, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, throw them down in the box at the bottom there. If you want anything done specifically on CMO 102, do let us know, and I will try and do it for you. Try and make the videos as brief as possible so I don't waffle on and on. What we are here, about 13 minutes. Okay, guys, till next time, take it easy.